The recent hitches and glitches plaguing the Elections Department are also coming under the microscope. The minister in charge of the Public Service says that the outcome of the presidential election was not affected by the number of people wrongfully unable to vote. The Elections Department has restored the names of these 1,093 Singaporeans to the electoral roll. And moving forward, it will take the additional step of asking everyone on the non-voter list to verify their status using Mail and SingPass. Rebecca Mateo with more.
Some people remember voting during the 2020 general election, but did not receive a polling card for this month's presidential election. In Parliament, Minister in charge of the Public Service Chun says a lapse in process during GE 2020 might have caused the issue, especially when officials were trying to clear queues at more crowded polling stations.
The election official should tap the OK button to return the registration screen so that the NRIC of the next voter can be scanned. If the NRIC of the next voter is scanned when the screen was not returned to the registration screen, the alert sound will still be emitted, as this indicates that the NRIC has been scanned. However, the record of this voter would not have been captured.
For this year's presidential election, Mr. Chun says a new system with a simpler process was used. He also points out the occurrence of such mistakes is roughly 1 in 2,500 or 0.04%, much smaller than the closest margin of victory in all elections so far, which is 1 in 200 or 0.5%. Mr. Chun also explained the technical issues that caused long queues early on polling day. He pointed out more than half of voters had cast their ballots in the first 4 hours alone, compared to some 30% in the last general election.
When all the devices were sending messages to the central server and getting a response, when the inordinate amount of search happened, some of the messages did not get through. And when the messages did not get through, the packets of messages did not get through, the system kept trying. And because as the system kept trying, it continued to pile up a backlog of packets that have to be cleared.
He says officials quickly reacted and increased computing power and memory, but the backlog was so large it took an hour to clear. Meanwhile, officials fell back on hard copies prepared as contingency. Mr. Chun adds these baseline manual processes are already sufficient to allow everyone to vote in the amount of time given.